Have you been to Craft Tea Boba next to Jollibee and Van Nuys?
Wow. Wow,
You
wow,
know how
wow.
sometimes you get boba and it's like chewing erasers? This
Wow.
place gets it right every time.
Wow.
The owner wakes up extra early to get the boba just right. Dude, if my body can handle
Wow,
it,
wow.
I'd get fried chicken spaghetti from Jollibee than dessert from Craft
Wow,
Tea.
wow, wow.
Anyway, good morning, local peacemakers and loyal rumblers. It is Monday, August 22, 2022, a great day for our future. We have 3,021 days left until Thanksgiving Day 2030. As you know, we start our shows with emails from our anonymous confessional. Remember, I'm not a real minister, just another host of an entertainment show running on the best platform for peace. And with that in mind, let's see what you sent me. Dear time traveling minister in the body of Eric, okay, you've mentioned before how God helped you calm your anxieties, kept you away from therapy. I don't agree with you. Because I'm in the camp of people that believe it's good to have therapy. That's all right, you're allowed that. But if I'm being honest, I suggested my friend find a therapist years ago, and I have to say, I feel it's made our friendship meaningless. Don't get me wrong, her progress is fantastic. It's just that I don't feel close to her anymore. Specifically, it's like there's always a third person in our conversations, me, her, and the topics she brings to her therapist instead of me, her friend since high school. It makes me feel like I'm not qualified to listen. Am I weird for thinking this? It's hard to put to words because I know I'm supposed to be supportive, but lately it feels one-sided, and our friendship is just another part of a routine made up by her therapist to check in on her best friend, like a robot or something. Sincerely, tired of wondering if I'm being fake. First of all, you are not being fake. You're feeling the reason why I think therapy isn't always the answer because sometimes people can afford to keep talking about their problems to the people that will listen for money. However, that's not the point because you're happy with her progress. And look, she must have made good progress if she could pay someone to listen because that means her investment seems to be paying off. So if you feel like there's a barrier keeping you from accessing your old friend, the communications degree in me tells me you should say this next time she makes you feel less than a best friend. Can we talk about how different our relationship is since we've grown? Because then she'll have to ask, "What do you mean?" Then that's your cue to compare notes, learn and grow with each other. Because isn't it also true that we adopt different strategies to cope with the harshness of growing up? So maybe this is just a hiccup that will lead you to a better strategy between you guys. I mean, look, you adopted the courage to ask this guy for advice, and I'm not a real minister. Now, how about the part where you said it was God that calmed my anxieties? I quote the two pirates in that movie Pirates of the Caribbean and in Dead Man's Chest. It's the Bible. You get credit for trying. Now look, I'm not against therapy. I just find the process exhausting. But Eric, they're making the world a better place. That's funny because I thought we were all here to make the world a better place. Anyway, tomorrow's question. Dear time traveling minister, me and my three beautiful kids went to an observatory and had an interesting question I'd like your take on. After a really amazing star show, they asked me, "So, where does God come in?" Which eventually led to, "Why is life so hard?" As a family that goes to church every Sunday, I found myself without a clue as to handle the situation because truth is, I'm a CEO Catholic. As in, I have always believed in God, but the practices are a little much for me. But my kids come with me to church every Sunday and they look forward to it. So, how can I give them an answer without losing my credibility as a parent? Screw it, I want to answer this now. Because how can an immortal being teaches how else because think of it this way, how else can an immortal being teach his kids the value of everlasting life other than trapping us in time to let us experience life? His narrative gives meaning to revelation. That's the revelations that save us from the impasses we find ourselves in. Because the definition of revelation is the revealing of something that was previously unknown, and revealing something takes time. and revelations around the clock. So best rest in truth and righteous thoughts. In the world of infinite content, we thank you for your attention and questions. Here in the age of retrospection, now it's time to start the YouTube part. I'm a professional, I could speak clearer anyways. Let's try this. Welcome to World Peace for Free, everyone's favorite audience-generated museum of events until 2030. I'm your time-traveling host, and you're in the future, so if you haven't yet, please subscribe so we can be the biggest YouTube channel not part of the ad money program. Welcome, everyone, to Mighty Mentality Monday. This one's titled The Most Motivating 6 Minutes of Your Life by David Goggins. Dear Mr. Minister, dude, I'm glad to see the show finally has a flow. But you need content. LOL, it's not so easy, huh? But it is Monday, which you intended for inspirational videos suggested by your audience. So here's David Goggins. I want this clip to be immortalized because it is the one I want to tell my kids is the video that changed my life for their sakes. I was fat and smoking a carton a month, which I could say isn't bad compared to the ones who do a carton a day, but a cigarette is still a cigarette. And see how easily I justified myself there, which is why only the weight behind David Goggins' words would have the power to motivate me. Just listen to his story. I like what you're going with this. Keep it up, home slice. Sincerely, Brony Robbins. Okay, here we go. Let's see where this goes. Thank you very much for the funny suggestion for your fake name.
Some people have been bullied. Some people are just stressed out. Some people are insecure. Some people are fat and overweight. I call myself fat because I was fat. And people don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, don't call yourself fat. Don't call yourself dumb. If you're not real and raw with who the you are, nothing's going to change. In this nice new world that we live in, we want to hear, you're just a little big. No, man, you might be fat. We surround ourselves around people that make us feel great. They tell us what we want to hear. The second we put ourselves amongst the uncommon people, we don't like that feeling. That challenging feeling of that person who's waking up at 3:30 in the morning and say, hey, put your shit on, we're going for a run. We like that person who says, hey, you know, man, I don't feel good today, man. And they say, oh, it's okay, brother. We don't want that motherfuckers like this. Hey, man, no, bro. Get your shit on, man. Stop being a punk.
This is all about the quitting mind. So what's the quitting mind? So let's say it's day one of a job interview. We all know what it feels like. You have your clothes laid out. You got your food ready to go in the morning. You've been preparing for weeks and weeks and weeks. You show up and you bring your best self. You get the job. Merry Christmas. All right. After a couple months, you start showing up to work a little later. You don't look as good. Your clothes aren't laid out. Your breakfast isn't ready. Your mind's getting softer. We do that with everything in life. When New Year's coming up, guess what? Don't have a fucking quitting mind. Repetition every day. Stay hard.
I believe that most human beings are only living at about 40% of their capability. The mind has a governor, like a car. If you're driving a car and the car has a governor on it, the car may say 130 miles an hour, but the governor's set for 91. The car wants to go. The car wants to go, but that factory said, we're not going past 91. We have a factory, a nice governor in our brain, and it's a survival mechanism. It protects us from pain and suffering. At all times of your life, the mind has a tactical advantage over you. Why is that? It knows what you're afraid of. It knows your insecurities. It knows your deep, dark lies. And it starts to push you away from that. It pushes you in a direction that is comfortable. The mind controls everything. You get to 40%, your brain says, we're done. Let's roll, man. This is starting to get painful. This is uncomfortable. So you sit down. You have to figure out ways, and everybody's different. That's how the book kind of talks about, like we all have these things about, 5 steps to this and 4 steps to this. It's a lot more than that. That's all bullshit. It's a practice that you have to, it's a habit. So if you know that at 40%, I'm feeling pain. At 40% I'm feeling pain. That's where the 40% rule kicks in. Now it starts. Okay, I'm feeling pain. My mind's saying all to me. It's saying get out of here, run, flee. The fight or flight kicks in. Okay, we're done, we're not good enough. It starts telling you all these things. You start to believe it because the mind controls all. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind. And say, okay, let me see if I can go 45%. And once you start giving yourself more and more hope and start realizing, okay, the mind starts to be, okay, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going right and you're going left. You start then controlling your mind. Start finding more in yourself. And then it goes from 40% to a lot further than that. But that's the start of it though. Get to the spot where your mind is saying stop. Wherever that is, you gotta get there first. And then that's when that starts to work for you. You gotta control yourself in that moment.
Well, that time of year again, we start to feel real happy. Why? Because we're not going to work. If you believe in Santa Claus and you celebrate Christmas, you're looking forward to Santa Claus coming on the chimney, giving you some presents. It's a real good time of year. So in that good time of year, we start to feel real good about ourselves. Start to feel great. So we start making promises to ourselves about, hey, I'm gonna lose some weight. I'm gonna do better in school. I'm gonna be better here, be better there. But guess what happens? The real Merry Christmas happens and all of that noise is gone. It's quiet. And it's you against you. And now all those endorphins are gone. And I promise you, man, by getting up early and getting after it to go lose weight, study harder, guess what? It's a lot harder now. That repetition becomes a lot harder now. So a lot of us can't do things on our own. So find somebody in your life. So when you throw that towel in, they throw that motherfucker back at you and say you're not done yet.
How are you gonna feel, man, when you accomplish this goal coming from that point? Coming from the fucking hell you came from. A lot of people start from a good starting point. They have a good foundation. What if you can surpass all of these motherfuckers? What if everybody who was way up here started up here? And you started with no legs. You had to grow legs to even start walking, and then crawling, and then running. And then you start passing people with all this given to them. This might be exactly what I need. The darkness is exactly what I need. It's how you look at your situation.
That is intense. But did you guys catch what he saw there? What he said there, where you should find yourself at that 40%, and your brain's starting to tell yourself, no, you got to stop, and then you're trying to control your mind into pushing forward. And some folks might say that that's extreme, but I also want to. It also reminded me of, I forget who's. I hope it's Muhammad Ali, because that's what I remember quoting it, but I could misquote it. But he was famous for saying, for being asked, when do you start? How many sit-ups do you do? And then either Bruce Lee or Muhammad Ali would say, when it starts, I would start counting when my abs start hurting, and that's what David Goggins is talking about. And the reason why I guess we're doing Mighty Mentality Monday, it's because it's a Monday. We should probably focus on on getting inspired and motivated to bring our best, bring our A game at the beginning of the week. And I'm really thankful that you sent me this, because it's always good to it's always nice to share. It's always nice to see what inspires other people, because it works. And for those of you that don't know, oh, by the way, this clip came from a channel called Video Advice, and it has 7 million views, and it was released January 16, 2019. And that's the reason why we do this show. We want to immortalize these clips, these channels, just in case it gets deleted or whatever. But they'll always have a place here, and it's audience generated, sent by you guys. So I really appreciate you sending this to me, Brony Robbins. But I hope that your situation with battling your cigarette addiction is done now, or maybe it's going to keep on going. And like you all just watched. And you could watch again. You should probably check out that channel too. It's whenever I come across clips of David Goggins, I have no choice but to feel like look at myself and be like, how much stuff have I been just being soft on? And for those of you like, oh no, that's not my deal. I don't wanna be pushed and motivated like that. Like, yeah, I get it. You don't have like there's gonna be different ways towards your goal. This is just one of them. And I just suggest that, well, yeah, this is the reason why we have the show, to show that we're in a place to learn a lot from each other. People that don't know David Goggins, he's that guy. I don't know if it's popular enough, but long story short, he's that guy that famously ran his marathons with like zero cartilage in his knees. And this is the reason why he's like the guy that people talk to when pushing through pain and pushing through struggle. Not only that, he was a big dude before, and then all of a sudden there was a mindset change. And in his book, he talks about that. He went from that fat guy to a Navy SEAL, and he talks about that part of your mind that you could actually talk to if you need it, because most of the time we're very comfortable, right? And the only time you kind of see that governor he was talking about in your mind that stops you from doing anything, from experiencing pain. He talks about meeting that person in your brain like it's a person you talk to, and then eventually you negotiate, and you then maybe even overpower when you need to. But there goes my attention for reflection here in the age of retrospection. If you saw an ad, then there's skullduggery afoot. Because we refuse to... come on. Well, there goes my attention for reflection here in the age of retrospection. If you saw an ad, then there's skullduggery afoot. Because we refuse YouTube ad money. Please subscribe so we could be the biggest YouTube channel not part of the ad money program. Remember, you are loved, missed, and thought about every day. Take care, future people.